Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7. We are back with some highlights from possibly the most crazy race we have ever been in Nations in terms of track combination. I'm not sure what PD were thinking, but it did lead to some quite funny moments. Now, if you do enjoy this video, make sure you hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments what you did in this race, how you got on, what you thought of it, did you risk it? There was no DR or SR active in this race, so none of your rank could be affected by it. So a lot of people actually jumped in for a bit of a laugh and had some fun with this one. Now, we did have a brilliant race, which you're watching part of now on screen, with Atomics. Absolutely amazing little battle there. Make sure you watch the second race to watch an absolutely brilliant display of racing and how to do it clean as well. Have to say, brilliant stuff, this one. But before that, we had chaos. Now, we had this driver that was causing quite a lot of chaos in these races. I don't know if he was doing it for fun, but he was literally just wiping everyone out at the start of the race every single time we entered the race. Now, he was doing this consistently, taking people out and just basically having no regard for anyone in front of him. You're going to see him again, just straight into us and just pushing his way through, picking up damage, but giving basically zero cares about it. Now, we go on to the next race and we managed to qualify, I think, in P5, just behind Calcer here. And he's in the race again, but he's a little bit further back. Now, we're going to try and get a good start, traction control on, and we're going to take it easy. Straight away over to the left-hand side of the track and brake early. You see, lifting, making sure we don't get hit. And, yeah, we don't hit anyone, but we get hit from behind. And the FRT drivers are just driving straight through there. And we've got an opportunity here to get a little bit of revenge, which we're going to take. A little bit of a tap there. And to be fair, it probably helped him out actually, because he ended up coming back up the inside. So yeah, it probably didn't work out, but yeah, he was annoying us all race in reality. I know he's probably having a bit of fun, but he was going a bit too far with some of the takeouts that he was doing in the previous races. And then again, into this corner, absolute chaos kicking off. We get pushed wide a bit, and we're all the way down to P9. So from qualifying P5 down to P9, typical rallycross start, to be honest, the way it was going on this combination. But it was for a bit of fun. And we did have a lot of fun on this race. As you can see how crazy this race was. I think putting 10 cars on the track was a little bit too much. It's a shame that PD doesn't have some ability to do some sort of heat combination, like heats, where you do like maybe 4 cars on track, top 2 qualify, and then you have a 6-car final or something like that. I think that would have been more enjoyable than having 10 cars just all going crazy and kicking the you-know-what out of each other. So, yeah, you can see through here, we get pinned into the wall there. And now we're going up into P7, but another car there, another FRT driver just sends it on the outside. I'm not sure what's going on there, but we're going to take that position and we're up into P7. So yeah, absolute crazy going on in this race. A lot of cars just sending it, a lot of cars just pushing people out the way, and yeah, it was fun. It was fairly entertaining, but like I say, I think it would have been better with a reduced number of cars for this race. And maybe a heat system, like I say. I think it would have made much more entertainment doing it like that, and then having a final that we could enter. And even then, you could watch it if you wanted to. Maybe if there was some system, they could do that. But you never know. Maybe for the future, if PD can implement something like that, it'd be brilliant for the game. But you can see it into P7 now, trying to drift our way through this track. Not the easiest combination on the wheel, and we actually hit Popcorn there. So as we got past him here, I decided to let him back past on this straight. So once we got the car over to the right and we could lift without actually slowing someone down, we lift off the throttle and let both of them back through, because that was a bit too much. In the air, I hit him and we knocked him wide. So we let him back, take that position back. And now we're back down to P8 and we've got Tunable in front of us and Popcorn just ahead of that. So let's see what chaos is going to kick off for the remainder of this race as we get a little half-second penalty. But to be fair, half-second penalty on this combination is not going to lose you much. Now, looking further ahead, we have our friend that's been causing chaos. He's driven straight into the wall, and a little bit of karma has hit him there, as he's pretty much out of that race now, facing the wrong way. But yeah, half-second penalty doesn't really do any harm on this combination, as Tunable goes straight into the wall as well, and that's 2 freebies in the space of a few seconds. We're up to P6, but yeah, you'll see as we come up to the penalty line, it's right before the braking zone, and it loses us probably about 1/10 of a second. So no real loss with that half-second penalty. But this corner was really sensitive for penalties. I do think that PD might have went a bit too sensitive for that corner, especially with 10 cars on the track. Should have made it a little bit simpler to get through there without picking up a penalty. But you can see we're getting pushed from behind now. Cars right up behind us, and we're just seeing if we can get into P5. Now we have a little look up the inside there, but he blocks that off fairly early, which is perfectly within his rights to do in this combination. Very difficult to find the move on this track, but he's gone a little bit too sideways there. That's given us a chance to go up the inside, and this time we do it nice and clean, and we're up into P5. And now we can try and pull away. You can see getting on that throttle, and we're away from them cars. Now you can see if you look behind us there, we got Tunable in P8 and we're in P5. But as we come through here, I think they're going to be battling a little bit behind us. You can see the gap around 6 tenths per second, and then it's going to go up a little bit more as we come through here, as they're probably going to fight a little bit. So through this tricky left-hand corner, you can see a lot of chaos going on behind us, and by the time we get to lap 7, we've got Tunable behind us now. You can see starting the end of lap 7, sorry, finishing the end of lap 7 and starting the final lap of the race. We've now got to try and defend from Tunable, so try and see if we can keep ahead of him. He was much faster than us again, but very hard to overtake here if you keep tight lines and you make sure you hit them apexes. Again, this tricky corner here, trying to get that drift going into it, and then jumping over the hill with a little bit of rotation onto it, so you can turn him. And looking behind us, you can see Tunable going completely sideways there, really pushing that car all the way through the corner. And now we're just going to power our way up through the hill and into this final sector of track. Can we manage to hold on for a P5, which actually would be reasonably good points, because this race was, I think this one was top split before it really picked up the lobbies. And yeah, I think it might have been split 2 or I can't remember if it was top split or not. There was 2 different lobbies that we did. They eventually picked up, so I think this one might have actually have been top split. You can see as we go over the line and we take just about in front of Tunable there, we take a P5, which ended up being reasonable points. We ended up coming away with 341 points. So now we went again on our second account. Now we were definitely in split 2, and we managed to qualify P2 just behind Atomics there. So this was going to be a case of getting in front of him straight away, because P2 was technically one of the better positions. Now we're going to go to the left hand side of the track and make sure we don't kill Atomics, but we get hit from behind. I think Haku might have braked a little bit late there, gave us a little nudge, and that pushed Atomics wide. However, as we come up this top of the hill, we're going to try and stay on the inside. He cuts across us a bit there, but not really that much contact going on. And we're right in the middle now, and we get squeezed. But luckily for us, they had to lift out, and they both end up hitting each other behind us. And that gives me a chance to try and run away in this race now. So we're in a really good position, because once you're in P1, in this combination, and cars behind you fight, it's quite easy to get away from them, because you can't really drive this track properly with 9 cars around you all battling. All that tends to happen is you lose more and more time, the more and more you fight with each other, you just let the other drivers get away. So in the perfect position here in P1 on our second account, and now we're going to go through that final call. A little bit of handbrake there just to get that drift going, and you can see absolute chaos kicking off behind us. And this is what we were saying about this combination. One of the more chaotic combinations we've ever had as a GT World Series race, or FIA, which was known on GT Sport. We have had some crazy ones on GT Sport as well, some funny ones at Route X, but this one probably was the most chaotic. But look behind us there, we've got Atomics right behind us now. Atomics is on the controller, and the controller is very, very strong at this type of combination in Group B. It really suits the sliding nature of the cars, and a lot of the controller players were really flying around there. And you can see Atomics behind us, absolutely flying. He's right up behind us. Now what we've got to do is just try and hold tight lines into the corners. Don't let him squeeze that car up the inside. Use the handbrake to rotate the car, and just see if we can keep him P1. This is going to be a battle, this, all the way to the end. But you can see Atomics drifting his car through that corner. That corner I was having real trouble, because I didn't want to drift it too much, because if I end up drifting it and messing it up, it would give him the ability to take the inside line. So we were really having a bit of trouble with getting the car rotated through there. But through the rest of it, we're okay. Good exit speed out of there. We got a nice gap going into this section now for that final corner. But this corner up here was where we were having a little bit of trouble with the track limits in general. But you can see through here, you can cut a bit off there, but you just got to be careful your right hand tire didn't cut the white line on the entry into that corner. But into the final corner again, making sure we rotate the car. And Atomics having a little look up the inside, but he's not going to get that move done. And again, we're managing to hold on to P1. But it really does show you that if you've just got a few cars on this track, you can have some pretty good racing around it, like in the rallycross cars. And this is where I think if it maybe would have been reduced to maybe even 6 cars, and you know, the heat system would have been brilliant, but even if it was like 6 cars in each slot, I think it could have been quite entertaining. And you would have actually ended up with a system that rewarded DR probably better in terms of you know, if you're in a higher lobby or not. It could have been quite interesting if they'd have done that. I think you'd have had better racing, less chaos, but I suppose the 10 cars did cause some absolute chaos, and it was entertaining. That is the main thing, I suppose. So into the final corner again, you can see both of us drifting into there, and Tomic's having to back out because he would have clipped us. But we're holding on to P1. That is the most important thing at the moment. We're managing to keep ourselves in P1. You can see on that bottom right hand corner, keeping the drift going through the corner, now into the hill section, jumping over the hill, getting the rotation into the corner, and just trying to give him zero up chance. So braking nice and early here, and then just using the handbrake to rotate it into the apex to stop him being able to get up the inside. That was the only plan we had here. We weren't really driving it as fast as we could. We were driving it defensively, and that's what we've got to do. We've got a nice gap to the cars behind. You can see we've got quite big gaps to the next group behind us. I don't even think P3 is even that close at the moment. So yeah, we're doing quite a good job. Into the next left-hand corner, you can see again, tight corner, and again, both drifting through there, but Antonix just can't get on the power enough to get into this corner. Now, this was going to be very close, so I had to get this perfect. Ran a bit wide, but managed to get the power down on the exit, and again, we just about keep ahead into that section, both jumping over the hill, both drifting onto this next section, and again, now, we've got to hold that tight line, get it rotated, a little bit of lock-up on that rear tyre where we use the handbrake, and that was very nice. Both through there cleanly, sideways, and a lot of fun. This is what it was all about, I suppose. When you had a situation like this, not everyone probably had a situation like this during this race where it was just two of you battling, but when it was like this, it was brilliant. We can see we've only got a few more laps to go, and 2 more laps to hold on to this position to try and take a win on our second account. And Tomix again looking up the inside there. I can guarantee you if it was a driver with a bit more aggression, probably would have pushed us wide on a few of these corners, but Antomic's trying to do it cleanly and seeing if he can make his way through. It does make for great viewing though, I have to say, on that replay camera, watching these cars drift through these corners and actually, you know, both going side by side again, just through there, side by side, and no contact. Brilliant stuff. And now we're going to go into possibly the final. This is the final lap coming up soon as we're coming to the end of lap 7. Can we hold on for basically 1 more minute of racing to take the win in this nation's race? So again, through there, being careful on the limits, because it's very easy to pick up a half-second penalty. And again, taking that very tight line, using the handbrake, giving him no opportunity to get his car up the inside there. And now into this right-hand corner, trying to get a bit of drift going. We didn't really hook it up perfectly. Again, he's on that inside, both going sideways through there. And now we're coming through to the jump. And again, you can see just how close this is. Both drifting through there. And now, again, hold that apex, a little bit of handbrake again, locking the rear up, and that is perfect, giving us good exit speed. And now we're looking pretty good here, because I think Antomic's there had a little half-second penalty. You can see drop back a bit, but now all we've got to do is try not to pick up a penalty. Unfortunately for us though, went a bit too aggressive through here, caught the inside ever so slightly there, and picked up a half-second penalty. Now the problem with Gran Turismo is when you pick up half-a-second penalty, you actually pick up a 1-second penalty when you go over the line. So that lost us 1 second, and Antomic's actually managed to take the win by a 1/10 of a second. But that was exciting. I really enjoyed this race, and it did show you that, you know, there was a lot of fun to be had on this Rallycross event for the nations. But let me know in the comments what you thought of it, and whether you had any good races. Did you enjoy it? Did you do it for fun? It was certainly worth doing for the entertainment. Anyway, I'll be back with more content in the future. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. See you all soon.